If you're a man and you find yourself seeking approval, if you catch yourself trying to get people to like you, whether that's friends, family, or you're on a date with a woman, and you find that you're not very comfortable and relaxed in your body, you're not present, you're thinking a lot, those thoughts are usually telling you that you need to be someone else in order to maintain connection with the person that you're with. So again, whether that's with a girlfriend, family, or friends, you might find that you carry a lot of tension in your body. You have a lot of racing thoughts. You think you're not good enough. You think that you need to be someone other than who you're being in each moment in order to maintain that connection, in order to feel liked, in order to feel loved. These are all nice guy patterns. On top of that, nice guys tend to avoid conflict quite regularly. They're not able to handle the intensity of conflict, and therefore their expression and the things that they say, the words that they say, the way they behave is done from an unconscious need to avoid conflict. Now, if you think that you have these, first of all, don't worry. A lot of men do. A lot of us have it in various areas of life. I've been noticing in my life when I send voice notes to people on WhatsApp that I have tension in my body and my voice would go up. I realised that that was because I was kind of concerned about what the other person was thinking about me when I was sending the actual voice notes. So what I've done is I've learned to relax into the tension that comes up when I was recording voice notes, and now I'm able to feel a lot more grounded, a lot more embodied when I send voice notes. It's a bit of a random one, sending voice notes, but that's an area that I had this nice guy tendency come up in recent times. Now, I've had a lot of nice guy tendencies. If I met a woman and I was going on a date, I used to have to drink a lot of alcohol. I would lie. I wouldn't be in any way embodied. I wouldn't be in any way grounded or authentic, because I had the thought pattern running over in my head that I needed to be someone or something in order to have her like me. It's the same with my friends. Every invite I got, I always said yes. I wasn't able to say no, again, because of the tension that I felt in my nervous system when I went to say no to an invite. It got too uncomfortable, so I ended up breaking the tension by saying yes. Now, you might notice here that there's an underlying theme behind these nice guy tendencies, and it's an avoidance of tension. The nice guy has to avoid emotional and physical tension in order to feel safe as he goes through life. So the tension that could come from confrontation is too much for his nervous system. And the unconscious knows that, because the unconscious remembers every event that's ever happened. So if you find yourself avoiding conflict, your unconscious mind that remembers the times probably from childhood where you might have had some intense energy directed at you from a caregiver, it overstimulated the nervous system. Now the unconscious that literally will dictate up to 95% of your life will ensure that you don't face conflict. So how will it do that? Well, maybe if you're in a social situation, you had the urge to express yourself in a confident way, in a way that might invoke some form of confrontation from someone. Because the unconscious doesn't want that happening, it will send out signals to the body to ensure that you don't express yourself in that way. And that could be sending out adrenaline, cortisol, uncomfortable emotions. So you go to express yourself in an authentic way, and the uncomfortable feelings come up, and you don't want to feel the uncomfortable feelings, so you hide yourself. Maybe when you're on a date with a woman, you have the urge to just be yourself and not care whether she likes you or not, but that might result in her rejection. Now you will experience rejection as tension in the nervous system. And if you feel that, then you're going to avoid being rejected by a woman in order to not feel the tension that comes up in your nervous system. And that could be by not being yourself. It's very normal, like almost all men grow up in a culture, at least in the UK, that kind of says it's okay to lie, to, get a woman into bed and just say what you've got to say in order to get laid. Basically, that's what we learn. But really, when we look at what's going on there, it's just us being completely inauthentic. Now, look, if you're a younger guy and you just want to get laid, this video is probably not for you. I'm 43 now. I've gone past that stage. If I meet a woman, I want to be myself. I want to feel good in my body. I want to know that I'm being authentic and true. And also, I want to have the connection be the thing that takes us on a journey in the relationship. Now, that relationship could last just that night, or it could last the rest of our lives. We don't get to decide that. We get to decide how the connection unfolds throughout the time that we're together. And we do that by being open. We do that as men by being grounded, by not allowing the parts of us that want to be inauthentic and manipulate and lie to get loud enough so we start expressing ourselves from that energy. When you're on a date with a woman, you want to be calm, you want to be grounded, you want to be in your body, you want to be expressing yourself freely. Now, this goes the same when you're in any social situation, when you're hanging out with friends, if you're hanging out with family. If you notice that you carry a lot of tension in your body, that's essentially you experiencing the fear. And that is going to communicate to your unconscious that you're under some kind of threat. And then the unconscious will send out more signals of adrenaline, cortisol, the survival-based emotions, which generally feel very uncomfortable. Now, a fantastic way to start battling against the nice guy. When I say battle against, I don't really recommend battling the nice guy. The nice guy is a part of you that kept you safe when you were younger. Okay, so it's actually a very loving part of you that is working with you to ensure that you stay safe. So my recommendation isn't to battle against it, like I said. It's to develop a more accepting, dare I say, loving relationship with him. And this can be done in shadow work, which I'll explain in a bit. And this will just allow you to not get so frustrated and angry with yourself for having these tendencies. Because believe me, that doesn't get you anywhere. You can heal the nice guy through acceptance, through love. And I'm going to teach you how to do that right now. Here's the nice guy. Here's the bad boy. And here's the authentic man. Now, so you're down here. You've got people-pleasing patterns. You find that you carry a lot of tension in your nervous system. You carry a fair amount of fear. Maybe you experience a lot of shame as well. And you struggle to be yourself in certain areas of life. Now, you might be very comfortable, let's say, at work. But when you are down a bar with friends or you're on a date, then you find yourself to be very uncomfortable. And this is where the nice guy patterns start coming up. Maybe you're very comfortable on a date, but at work you experience discomfort in your body, and then therefore you're not being your authentic self. You're taking on the nice guy persona in order to find some form of safety when you're at work. So what happens with a lot of nice guys is nice guys tend to not do too well in relationships. They often get rejected and hurt. And after a while, it gets to the point where they're so badly affected by this that they move over to the bad boy. Now, the bad boy essentially doesn't really give a fuck. He does. I digress there. He does give a fuck, but he gives off the persona of not giving a fuck. He gives off the persona that he doesn't really care. Now, in relationships with women, he might cheat. He might just act a bit tough. He might be very controlling and domineering. But it's an expression of fear. He won't admit that. The bad boy's not very good at admitting his weaknesses and his faults. The nice guy can be quite comfortable admitting that he has faults, but just the act of admitting them doesn't actually do much to heal them, although it is a good first step. So my recommendation isn't to go down the bad boy route. To be honest, for most guys, being a bad boy is almost impossible, because when they were younger, you almost certainly got called bad a lot when you were a kid. You're a bad boy. Now, when you were told you're a bad boy, that felt really uncomfortable. Again, more tension to the nervous system. And so you hid the bad boy within your psyche, that version of you that was bad, that could have been big and rude and bold. You hid that because when you embodied it and expressed it, it got you in trouble. Now, when you were in trouble, potentially that didn't feel very good. And therefore, to maintain a connection with your caregivers, with mum and dad, you had to ensure that you buried the bad boy. Now, how did you need to be close with mum and dad and have them call you a good boy and give you sugary treats and tell you that you're good? You had to be the nice guy. So your nice guy patterns that you have as an adult were actually formed when you were a little boy, and you needed to be this guy in order to feel safe. So it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just a pattern that comes from childhood. Now, ideally what you want to do is get up here. You want to become an authentic man, because the bad boy's not that authentic. The bad boy acts tough because he believes on an unconscious or conscious level that the world isn't safe, and he has to armor up and give himself an image of being tough to protect his vulnerable heart. Because the bad boy didn't heal his childhood wounds, he wasn't wanting to even admit that he had them or accept that. So he has to, rather than becoming a truly authentic man, which in order to do that, he would have to go into his wounds. Instead, he puts on the image of a bad boy in order to protect the vulnerability of his heart. And I see it in a lot of guys. To be honest, most guys are down this side. Most guys that watch my videos are here, and that's because I've been a nice guy pretty much all my adult life, and therefore I attract those guys to my videos because I talk a lot about overcoming the nice guy patterns. Now, what's interesting is on a nervous system level, the bad boy and the nice guy is just an expression of fight or flight. So the bad boy has the fight in him, and he has to fight because to have a fighting mentality is an expression of danger, of feeling unsafe, right? And when we feel unsafe, when we feel we're under some kind of threat, the sympathetic nervous system kicks in and we go into the first stages of fight or flight. So the bad boy has a lot of fight in him, which is why he can be a bit violent at times or quite aggressive, right? Because these are all expression of the fight, the fiery energy. The nice guy has a lot of flight because the nice guy is afraid of conflict, he's afraid of rejection, and therefore rather than putting himself out into the world like the bad boy will do quite easily, he makes himself invisible and he hides from the world. So most men are somewhere around here. because we don't get taught the truth about how to heal these patterns, nor are most men even aware of what's going on. And so in order for you to literally be happy, healthy, and be a true, authentic expression of who you are, you need to come up here and become an authentic man. So how? You're probably thinking, well, how do I do that? So what happens to most guys who are working on themselves is they avoid the bad boy. They don't want to admit that they've got the bad boy in them. And so instead, their journey is becoming more authentic, but they're doing it from the nice guy. So the nice guy is wanting to be authentic and real. But the problem is that the bad boy in them is the part of them that doesn't fear conflict. It's the part of them that doesn't give a shit what people think. So in order to get to the authentic man, the nice guy needs to come over to the bad boy, not so he can walk around and be a bad boy and literally become the bad boy, but he wants to access and befriend the bad boy within him that he hid long ago when he was younger. So the bad boy and the nice guy, the two parts, become integrated. They kind of work together. So the nice guy and the bad boy will work together, and then you make it to the top of the pyramid, or you climb your way up and become a more authentic man. So you might be still wondering, how do you do that? So the nice guy has a lot of positive attributes, and the bad boy has some positive attributes too. So we want to find a kind of happy combination of the two. The nice guy tends to he's not so afraid of his emotions. He's not so afraid to open his heart and to feel love, because the nice guy can get a bit needy, right? So he feels a lot of neediness. The bad boy is pretty grounded. The bad boy can be quite confident in social situations. The bad boy can be very confident on a date or going and approaching a woman. The bad boy is very good at saying no. So these are all attributes that you want. You can't be an authentic man and still feel uncomfortable expressing your no. You can't be an authentic man and still be inauthentic when you're on a date. The nice guy needs to do shadow work in order to access the bad boy in him, and then together the nice guy and the bad boy can climb up and become a more authentic man. That's essentially how it works. So if any of you guys live in the UK, I do run workshops in Brighton where we do a lot of work around the nice guy. So get in touch if you are interested in doing some work live. But if not, that's totally fine. We can do a little guided shadow work journey into the bad boy now. So close your eyes if you're comfortable with that, and just connect within with the nice guy in you. So it's almost like you're connecting with a friend, but you don't need to talk to the nice guy in you. You just allow yourself to feel the nice guy. Feel the fact that you hide from conflict. Feel the fact that you are afraid of rejection. Feel the fact that you struggle saying no. And just notice how it feels to connect with that part. You might feel some shame towards him. You might feel some anger towards him. You might even feel some love towards him. The trick is to just welcome every emotion that you feel towards that part of you. You don't want to hide these emotions, because a lot of these emotions are what's keeping you from healing the nice guy. So you welcome any anger, you welcome any sadness, you welcome any frustration because you might want to get rid of him. And you feel where in your body it is that you feel that emotion. And you kind of just let your awareness, your consciousness drop into the emotion and sit in the center of it and breathe. And when you breathe, you can feel, kind of imagine that feeling in your body expanding. So you're getting in deep. Now, if you park the nice guy to one side for a second, and now connect with the bad boy, the part of you that doesn't follow the rules, doesn't give a fuck, he does what he wants, kind of like the dark masculine. Now, you might find it very difficult to access him. And if you're a nice guy, you probably won't be able to access him because you've learned that that part of you is so bad that you've hidden him. In coaching work, we can really work to letting that side of you out. But it's difficult to do it on a video right now. But just see if you can say to yourself, feel into your heart, into your body, and you can just ask yourself, can I find the bad boy within me? Or where does the bad boy reside within me? And then just stop and wait. Don't try and find him. Just wait and see what comes up. You might have a memory from school come up. Maybe you were a bit of a bad boy at school at times and that got you in trouble, so you hid him. You might have memories from being bad when you were younger, when you were at home. And what you might find is that emotions come out as well. There might be sadness, there might be pain, there might be fear, there might be shame. Maybe you're ashamed for being a bad boy. And you've really got to just try and let yourself feel all the emotions that are surrounding the bad boy. Now again, we don't have a lot of time to go into this too much, but keep welcoming those emotions. And then go a layer deeper. Go under the emotions and see if you can embody the bad boy now. Maybe you can just embody him by 10%, 5%. That part of you that doesn't give a shit. Part of you that doesn't follow the rules. Part of you that's just confident when you're dating women, you don't care what they think. Part of you that's a bit of an asshole. Now, this isn't about being an asshole in life, but in the shadow work, we're going into the parts of us that we've pushed away for so long to uncover the gifts. And if you're a decent man, you know not to be an asshole in life. You know to treat other people fairly, but you can still go into the bad boy within. If you had a hard time at school, another very beneficial exercise is to go back to school in your imagination, find the little boy who maybe got bullied, who didn't have a good time, and let him act out the bad boy that might have provided him with the safety. So if you got bullied when you were at school and you never fought back, maybe you can tell him that now's the time to fight back. And in your imagination, you can let the little boy in you run wild and punch the shit out of the guys that were bullying you. It's a beautiful practice that will allow that kind of anger and fire to bubble up inside of you. Because most nice guys, they're afraid of their anger. When they were angry, they were told they were bad, and so they hid their anger and then they needed to be nice. So I hope this has helped in some way. I offer private one-on-one coaching for any guys that want to go real deep into this. Obviously, there's only so much I can do on a video right now, but I hope this gave you an idea of ways in which we can access the opposite of the nice guy, the positive traits of the bad boy, or the dark masculine, we could say, that's going to really allow you to start tapping into the more authentic man. Now, and the authentic man is an expression of a healthy nervous system. He's grounded. He's feeling his body. He's calm. He doesn't need approval from other people. He's magnetic. Women want to be around him. Men want to be around him. That's an expression of a healthy, happy man. And I hope this video has helped in some way.